Was there a moment over the last 3 days that Shohei Ohtani was really open on the market? The Angels put him out there. Did that happen, Buster? For real?
No. In fact, I saw in the last 2 hours, I've seen a headline breaking: Ohtani's off the market. He was never really on the market.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of teams this time of year will tell other teams, "Look, if you guys want to, give us an offer, let us know." So much of that is about gathering information for the winter time. Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, is hyper aggressive. He's absolutely attracted to stardom, which is why he, went over the head of his general manager and signed Josh Hamilton. Did the same thing with Albert Pujols. Did the same thing with Anthony Rendon. The idea that he's going to give up the shiniest object in baseball a year and a half from free agency, there was no way that was going to happen. Folks within the Angels organization acknowledge that. Now, the reason why you gather information now is they are barreling toward that moment when they will seriously have to consider trading him, because there's a lot of indication that Ohtani might be ready to move on. The Angels have obviously been an incredible disappointment this year. Last year, every other year, Ohtani's been there. Almost every year that Mike Trout has been there. And the conversation within baseball circles is, Ohtani's going to be ready to jump to another team. And if that's the case, if the Angels, I assume early in the offseason, will make him a big offer, if he says no, then you do have to begin to, in earnest, talk about trading him.
Well, where might Ohtani be interested, Buster? And there's a city so nice they named it twice that I'm thinking of. But so what are you thinking? Because he did sign with the Angels when the rest of the free world was trying to get him, and the concept was he kind of likes how there's no 24/7, 365 sports talk radio and 15 newspapers coming at him. What's his wants, do you think, on that?
That's exactly right. I was talking with the general manager yesterday who was going back over his notes from the time that Ohtani was available, and the message that the teams got after he picked the Angels was, look, he just doesn't want to have all the hoopla and be the number one guy. He can go to the Angels. He can just focus on baseball. Mike Trout can be the headliner, and he can just do his thing. Well, that clearly has to change now, because he is the brightest object in baseball. He's the one of a kind. No one's ever done what he's done as a two-way player. And you wonder if he's moved that beyond that part of his career, where he is ready to be the headliner. I've wondered about the Mets, because Billy Epler was the most important person, the former general manager of the Angels, to lure Ohtani. He had developed a really great relationship with him to lure Ohtani to the Angels. Well, Billy Epler's moved on to the Mets, who are now owned by the richest owner in baseball. And you would assume that when Ohtani becomes a free agent after the 2023 season, that Steve Cohen and the Mets may take a run at him. You wonder about the Mariners, who, they signed Ichiro in the past. If Ohtani wants to stay on the West Coast, that would be an interesting place. And, of course, the Dodgers, even though, there would be a lot more attention, in theory, media attention, playing with the Dodgers, he'd be surrounded by Mookie Betts and other star players. He wouldn't have to shoulder that entire burden. So it's going to be interesting to see what he decides, how he begins to steer this process, if he begins to steer this process, and what Artie decides to do in terms of when to pull the plug.
I don't know if the Mets go and get him, or he's interested in the Mets. George Steinbrenner might come back from the dead just to say over my dead body and then go back to the grave. Buster.
Rich, I got to tell you, Rich, one of my great things that I'm really excited about, you and I have never seen in our lifetimes that moment when the Mets at full superpower strength and the Yankees at full superpower strength have gone after the same guy. It's almost like they politely have deferred to the other team in various moments in their respective histories. But at some point, whether it's Ohtani, whether it's Soto in free agency, we are destined to have a full-blown Mets versus Yankees showdown for a player. Heck, maybe it'll happen this winter for Aaron Judge.
Oh, gosh. He's so awesome and so locked in. Buster. There's no question about that. In the couple minutes I have left with you here, here on the program, with all due respect to Soto, and everyone else, we on this program, talk so much about so many star players in baseball. Nothing moves the needle like Ohtani. Nothing comes close to moving the needle like Ohtani. And I'm just wondering if his decision might be affected by Trout's health. What's going on with Trout? What is going on with him, Buster?
So when the athletic trainer spoke with reporters the other day and talked about this condition that he said that Trout would have to manage, I've got mutual friends with Trout. I didn't speak to him directly, but they were all right away like, no, that's not that serious. Like, yeah, it's a concern, and he's going to have to get treatment. He got a shot last week, but the full expectation is that he's going to play again this year, and they assume he's going to play next year. The messaging I got back from the folks I talked to was, this is not as big of a deal as that long-sounding name of the condition that he has. We'll see. He's certain. He's over 30 now. You hope he continues. It's a fair question, and if you're Ohtani, you're right. You're looking at the Angels. They just can't put together enough pitching. They seem to step on themselves all the time, and now you've got this situation with Trout. If you're Ohtani, you're going to want a chance to win. That's what I've heard time and time again about him, is that he just wants to win now as he moves forward. And if you look at how the Angels have done in recent years, they would not be candidate number one for that.